The month of March is another fruitful month for mobile gaming, and it's already showing a lot of promise. With a few more weeks to come, there's a lot more to see, but we've already had hands on over 20 awesome new games that definitely earned their spot in today's list. Coming in at number 1, we have For the Win, which is basically a tactical first-person shooter that's trying to carve out its own space in the mobile shooting game world. If you're coming from something like Call of Duty Mobile and Valorant, you'll immediately notice a few familiar elements. It's pretty fast, slick, and a solid shooting game for the most part. The graphics and sound are pretty good too. The visuals are crisp for a mobile shooter, and the sound effects have a pretty satisfying punch to it too. In fact, each match in this game lets you roll for random loadouts and unlock new heroes, weapons, and skins through this gacha style system. The game in its current state definitely needs work, but it's pretty fun. It's a free game with a pretty unique spin as well. Coming up behind that at number 2, we have Hopper's Hotel, which is a horror puzzle game where you are, as this Jamie, return to an abandoned hotel once owned by your missing father. But something's wrong. The hotel's mascots have come to life and they aren't friendly. Your goal here is to survive, solve the mystery, and uncover the truth about what happened to your father. Each room has its own clues, puzzles, and horrors as you navigate this place, and with offline play, a tense atmosphere, and a pretty clever puzzle system, this game feels like a pretty good mix of Five Nights at Freddy's and escape room thrills as well. Draconia Saga Global has finally dropped worldwide, and is bringing the magical pet-filled adventure we've been waiting on. Maybe not the most well-received game in the list today here, but definitely one with a lot of hype. In fact, Draconia Saga is set in a world where humans and pets chill together. You're going to be taming all kinds of wild creatures, forming your own pet squad, and dealing with tons of different challenges. The game is lit, with every creature having its own upgrade path. You get to choose between 4 classes that mix your strategy with different talents, skills, and your pets as well. With that being said, at number 4, we have Treeverse, which is actually given off Albion vibes, but with its own twist. You're going to be moving in this world of Ouroboros, gathering up resources, crafting gear, and teaming up with friends to take down the monsters and dungeon bosses. It's got that MMORPG grind where you're just leveling up, exploring a dope world, and trying to craft the best gear. There's cross-platform, so you can link up with folks wherever, and say whether you're in for just the loot, the battles, or just chilling with friends. This one's definitely again worth trying if you're into all that MMORPG life. If you're in need of a good offline transportation sim, even though there's like a million of them out there right now, you can now see what it's like to be a truck driver in Indonesia with this one. I mean, this game brings some seriously realistic vibes, from authentic Indonesian roads to some really good truck physics. And whether you're just hauling cargo across the country itself or cruising through villages, you are definitely in for something immersive. Plus, you can fully customize a truck with pretty good looking liveries, strobes, and all the accessories you're gonna need. It's got that bus set feel, but now it's all about trucks. Frozen War is actually the latest from IGG, which is the creators of Lords Mobile, and it's honestly shaping up to be one of the best 4X strategy games we have had hands on in recent history. It's a 4X strategy hero collection and mini games all together basically. If you haven't seen it on a mobile app, you can give it a try yourself. The game is set in a frozen wasteland where you'll build, strategize, and recruit heroes to survive and dominate. Not to mention it's slightly inspired by the Frostpunk franchise, and most importantly, if you're into base building, war strategy, and hero collecting, this one is what you should definitely try. Moving on to number 7, we have Loco, which is, first of all, it's an upcoming game. It's a 3D platformer from Appy Monkey, backed by Sony's India Hero project as well. So it's not small, it's a pretty big one. And basically it blends the action platforming style with some wacky pizza delivery, and all while battling in this food monopoly thing. In fact, what really makes this one stand out is the crossplay, a full crossplay between mobile and PC, and PlayStation 5 plus DualShock integration across all platforms, meaning you can play this game with a controller or mobile as well. There is a level creation, a pretty good looking glow poly aesthetic. This game's almost a genius mix of Roblox creativity and classic platforming action. It's coming out soon, it's an online game and roughly 2 GB in size. Supermarket Tycoon is possibly the ultimate retail simulation game where you build, manage, and expand your very own supermarket empire. Obviously, you're gonna start small and grow eventually into a citywide retail giant by stocking shelves, managing inventory, hiring staff, and strategizing promotions to attract the customers. There are actually other rival competitors out there in this game that you are gonna have stuff like supply shortages and customer demands to deal with. So basically every decision matters in your path to success. If you're ready to dominate the supermarket industry, you might just go ahead and start your journey before that right here.
Start your adventure with cute pixel Disney characters.
Disney Pixel RPG just dropped a major update, bringing the Little Mermaid into its gorgeous world, and it doesn't stop there either. This update introduces a brand new rhythm game inspired underwater world, new enemies, theme mechanics, and an immersive musical twist to the whole gameplay. To celebrate, players can now claim a new chapter release login bonus with free gacha tickets and blue crystals from March 5th to March 25. So if you haven't dived in yet, now might just be the perfect time. If you're into Norse mythology, specifically itching for a good MMORPG, even though we mentioned this one before, Legend of Ymir is probably right up your alley. It's all about that Ragnarok, the end of the world event that comes around every 9,000 years or something, so, you know, it's no big deal. The vibe is sick, and the game's art really nails those raw emotions tied to Norse legends. You've got 4 classes to choose from, each with different weapons and combat styles. Actually, the kick here is that it's using blockchain technology, so you can play it on both PC and mobile, and the combat switches between automatic and manual, so there's a lot of flexibility as well. It's an online game roughly 8 GB in size. Still Paws is coming in hot, and this one's got pretty mad potential. This is a beat-em-up game with a mix of action and adventure, in which you play as this girl teaming up with a robot to take down a mysterious tower that only appears once every century. It's a wild game. It looks smooth, and there's a lot of upgrading, especially companion robots, which adds a nice touch. This game is a Netflix exclusive as it is right now, so if you've got a subscription, you might want to try this one, although it's in pre-registration, not available worldwide. But the great thing about it is that it works with the controller, and it even plays offline as well. Anyway, Bathroom takes the never go into the bathroom alone rule and cranks it up to nightmare mode. It's inspired by the Japanese urban legend the Ruma-san, and it isn't just about cheap jump scares here, it's a psychological horror experience altogether that actually messes with your mind just as much as it does with your nerves. If you love psychological horror games that keep you on edge with atmospheres, mind-bending events, and an urban legend, Bathroom's horror game is definitely worth checking out. If you love eerie, story-driven horror, absolutely. But if you're looking for pure action horror, this might be a bit of a slow burn. Either way, we give it a solid 9. Snufkin Melody of Moominvalley is serving major vibes for anybody down for a cozy, feel-good adventure. You're basically restoring nature and helping locals in this village or valley while sabotaging some super ugly parks, ruining this place. It's a chill mix of puzzle, stealth, and melodic vibes all wrapped up in this beautiful Nordic style, plus the soundtrack is something legitimately out of this world. The game is all about good tunes, heartwarming stories, and exploring a world that feels straight out of a storybook. Definitely worth checking out for a wholesome, low-key experience. Buckle up, because Racing Royale 2069 is in your typical racing game, is just pure chaos and wheels. Imagine Mad Max meets Need for Speed but with a Battle Royale twist, and you're the only one that's got a pretty good idea of what's going on here. This isn't just about speed, it's about strategy, survival, and absolute destruction. You're smashing into motorcycles, trucks, and other races while dodging bazookas and machine guns here. And the best part is that you actually feel every hit. So if you want a high adrenaline, full contact racing game with explosions, Racing Royale 2069 is a must play. Strange name, by the way. Moving on to number 15, it is Ultimate Boxing Champion, a game that's trying to bring boxing back to mobile gaming in a big way. If you have been craving a proper boxing experience, it's not just button mashing, this might be just what you're looking for. Like, if you're looking for a boxing game that actually feels like boxing, it's at least worth checking out. So solid mechanics, a pretty deep training system, and a clear plan for future updates from developers. I don't know, if you love boxing games and want a good mix of arcade and strategy, absolutely this one's got potential. So just keep your gloves up and stay ready. Krafton, the company known for working on games like PUBG, the Callisto Protocol, and many big games. In fact, if you missed it, because we mentioned before, has released Dark and Darker, and it's sitting on stores, no longer ranked as a #1 role-playing game, but the 5th best role-playing game of the year. So you should know. This game is like the original. The mobile version features elements of dungeon crawling, online and offline play, survival mechanics, and class system, some super graphics, and it's set in a medieval backdrop with the goal being to gather loot and extract successfully before just getting killed and losing it all. It's a free game, 2 GB in size, and definitely worth checking out, at least. I want to give a quick shout out to The Valley of Architects, which not only looks like it could be a standout puzzle adventure, but one that looks like it's doing something new in both gameplay and design. You basically play as a writer on a quest to uncover the reasons behind a lost architect's design. This elevator-based puzzles in the game seem simple at first, but they do elevate in very interesting ways, and what really stands out in this game is that it's got a fully voiced narrative story, adding a personal touch. The visuals look stunning though, and I do wonder myself whether it's gonna translate well or not. It's available in pre-registration on the Apple Store, but it's coming out in just a week. Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake is also back, and it's now better obviously. It's a classic mini Metroidvania adventure that's been rebuilt and bringing improved physics, colorful new graphics, and a fresh soundtrack as well. In this game, you will guide this little treasure hunter through an expanded dungeon that's actually twice the size of the original game, with new puzzles, items, and more. There are 5 new boss fights, hidden treasures, and secret levels as well. Basically plenty more to discover. It's available now on Android and iOS, offering a perfect offline platform adventure, not for free, for $4. With that being said, Arena of Dungeon challenges is kind of a whole vibe. In fact, each run in this game is totally unique. You're mixing souls, jades, and gear to flex on a bunch of dungeon creeps. Well, the comic style art are pretty clean, plus the game's different modes, especially the endless mode, will really test your grind. It's got daily boosts to keep things spicy, and actually the battle royale pace of it is pretty dope as well. And whether you're going solo or teaming up with friends, the game is lit from start to finish. It's a free game, obviously just over 2 GB in size, and it's in English as well. City Dynasty is hands down one of the most fun street ball games I've played in recent history. It just throws you straight into the action, where even NBA legends like Kevin Durant hit the court in street clothes, plus 5v5 matches are full of attitude and style. It's not only about dunking here, it's about the whole street ball vibe. You can customize your player, pick your team colors, and show off your skills. Plus, the graphics are top notch, and the 11-point matches keep things exciting. Honestly, if this game ever makes it to PC, it'll be a blast. If you love basketball, you've got to try this. That being said, Insomnia brings together RPG and strategy elements on an engaging package where you assemble a team of heroes to tackle tactical fights. Over 60 characters to collect here, each with their own skills and backstories. Your job is to master the gameplay system to maximize your team's synergy, and that by playing through PvE missions, PvP arenas, and co-op events while upgrading your gear and leveling up the heroes. You know, like Raid Shadow Legends. The game also features automatic battles, obviously making it easy to farm resources, and a decent retro style that bring the action to life. It's a pretty good game for both casual and experienced players as well. Townfolk, on the other hand, is actually a retro roguelike and a city builder that is about conquering new lands, keeping your people alive, most importantly paying your taxes. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that the crown always gets its due. Meaning if you love strategy games with a dark medieval vibe, this is it. It's about survival and adapting and struggling to keep both the crown and your people satisfied. And it's not that simple. You can expect a lot of failing, to make tough choices in a game that really doesn't just hold your hand. Would I recommend it? Absolutely, if you're ready for some challenge. Coming from the same developers of Good Pizza, Great Pizza, with 100 million downloads on that game, at number 23 we have got Good Coffee, Great Coffee now, which is a pretty cozy barista simulation game where you craft coffee drinks, manage your cafe, and serve over 200 different customers with orders and different stories. You can even actually experiment with flavors, latte art, and toppings while upgrading your shop with decorations and equipment to boost your profits. These free-to-play games are perfect for cozy gamers. It has a relaxing ASMR sound system, pretty good visuals, and an immersive storyline actually too. And last but not least, we've got Mark of Fate, which is, as you can imagine, a hidden object puzzle adventure game where you uncover the mystery of an island's ghost pirate. And although that might sound a little corny, but it's a really good game and it's got a really good story. It's the usual standards of a hidden object classic, kind of up a notch for some more immersion. It's a free-to-play experience with an extra bonus chapter, lots of brain teasers, mini games, and special collectibles and bonuses on top of an actual decent story. Not much to say except that this game is also offline and is about 1 GB in size.